Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. We were whitewashing, basically, the owl with titanium white and water. And I just want to go over a couple of things just to guide you, depending on how far you got. In the area, like on the head here and stuff like that, I need you not to get it so white that you can't see this ghosting coming through, where you can see the feathers itself. If you get it white, you're going to have a hard time discerning where the paint should go when we put markings in on here. So for the back of the head, where we did this style of burning, where we burned deep and lifted as we came out, I'm going to ask you to go easier on the white so that you have a look that looks like this, okay? Want to guide you in that direction. And then for the area on the wings in here that were raised, you could go a little whiter, which is what's happening here. You can see the difference between up here and down here. This is ghosting in. This it's almost like a white that covers most of it. I know some of it's still coming through, but nothing like up here. At least you can define the feathers up here. These are actually raised and defined, so you shouldn't get lost when you have to make up which is a feather and what isn't. So, and that goes on even for down here, okay? And the same way with the tail. The tail, in fact, I could go a little bit more on the white in here to get it white, and the same way on the back here too. Now, the breast works the similar way. You have some of the markings from the head coming down that were done with a certain style, and I need you to be able to define which feather is which in here. And then we raise the rest of these, so you could go white in here, and the same way with the tail, okay? So I just want to let you know that, because when you have to start marking all the markings that go in here, I want you to be able to see the feather, okay? Where if you got it white here, it could get lost in there. So I still need some of that ghosting coming in, which is fine. And if you can get your bird to this whiteness, and then even in the breast feathers, you can get it even a little bit whiter if you want. And it's definitely the tail as well, both front and back, okay? And your wings coming down in here, they could get white, so, okay? And the reason why, I'm going to show you something as a sample. This bird here has markings that we're going to have to put on now, and I'm going to show you how to do all that. And it's a lot of markings, and if you don't have the feathers defined, then we have a problem. You're going to really struggle with it. So bear with me here, but I'm going to show you the steps I use to get the markings on. And we're going to start that first before we do washes on the bird and everything else. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. From the last video, I was telling you to get it white and stuff like that, but I don't know if I remember correctly, I had areas I didn't want you to go so solid white, but in other areas you could. So I'm just redefining again what I had stated before, and I will show you the techniques for what I want to do. And what we'll do is, I think, just so we can handle the bird easier, I'm going to have you work up an area in the breast area first, okay? And I'll show you how we mark that out. And then we'll do the wings, and I'll show you how to do that, and so on. And we'll move down on the bird and stuff like that. But if we do a segment at a time, it won't get you so confused. There are different patterns on the bird. They're similar, but they are slightly different, and I want to show you that, and we'll do it in groups, okay? And then also, when we make this mix that we're going to use, which is a different color, I asked you before I showed you, I have that small tray, and when I'm done for the day, I'll cover that with saran wrap so that you can preserve that paint so that you can use it the next day. And all you have to do is stir it up and put maybe a drop of water in. What you start out with, you could still maintain by doing it that way. So I just want to give you a heads up on that too, so that you just don't throw your paint away every time we start up this paint. It's a painting project now, and we're going to go step by step. We will be putting washes in over the whole thing, but first we got to get these markings in, and that starts pulling it together. I will be showing you, and I think I made a statement in the last video, that some people have chose to just stop without painting the bird. So I'm going to show you what one of my subscribers had done, where he decided to stop at a certain point. And then I'm going to also show the video where some of the success stories that occurred by using my video. He seems like a talented guy to start, and I will make a video of the people that have had real good success in following my videos. So hopefully that will be an encouragement to you to pursue on, and I'll get that out to you as well, okay? And like I said, if anybody has any success stories, it doesn't have to be great ones, just if you're satisfied with the carving and it comes out pretty good, please send me a picture. I'd appreciate it, and I'll pass that on for encouragement for the rest of the subscribers, to show that, hey, this is what other people have done following my videos. So if that's a help to you, great. I know anytime I'm around somebody that can show me something and I'm learning, I feel better. It's like I learned something. So I hope this is occurring with you too. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to bring the camera down, and I'm going to try to do some stuff on paper just to show you the designs on how we want to accomplish the feathers. And I'll give you the techniques there, and then we'll go right to the bird. So bear with me, and we'll show you the rest. All right, we're back. I'm getting a tray, and what I'm going to do is I have a tube of burnt umber. For those, I use Liquitex, but you can use any burnt umber. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about, maybe about a half a pea. No, almost that. Anyway, in a tray. I may move some of that over, just depending on how heavy it is. And I'm going to add some water to it. I'm going to go, probably about a half of the cup of water. And then, this is the important part I want to show you. This is a real good brush that takes a real fine point. And it's smart to have something like this, a good brush. So if you need brushes, I have some, but what I'm trying to say to you is get a brush that really bounces back and has a nice point, because we're going to do some fine work on the piece. and I want to show you how that works. In the meantime, I'm going to mix this up as best I can to dissolve most of the burnt umber into the water here. Mix the two of them together real good. And we may have some that don't dissolve right away. And what I'm going to do is just move some of the excess over here. And a lot of it seems, but there is a glob in there, and I don't want that. So I'm going to just slide that over into that one, and I'll check to see how this is going. And you're trying to get something to that color. And then what I do is I put this out on a paper towel. I hope I'm in range to do that so that you can see it or not. Not sure. Yeah. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is charge the brush up eventually here, and I may even want to go back with the heavier stuff. This may be too watered down, so bear with me here. I'm just trying to show you the pitfalls of what we got to go through to get the right consistency, okay? So here's what I've done. That's on the paint side. I'm going to show you. We may be using heavier paints and using less water with this mix right here that isn't mixed up yet, but I want to show you something in the meantime. We're going to work in the breast area and not the feathering that was burnt in. And what I mean, burnt with that style where we go deep in the front end and lift as we go out. These are all the lifted ones. I want to pattern these first. So I'm going to show you how to do these because you can generally see each feather and how it should be built up. And what I did is I drew here an exploded view of the feather, okay? And then I came along, they have quills. Not that we're really concerning ourselves with that, we aren't, but it has a quill, and I want to show you how we utilize that too. We come in here, and I'm going to start, I'm saying maybe 1/8 of an inch up. It could be a little less than that. And then you come off of here, and you pivot, and you go to the left. And so it sort of drops down a little bit right here, but then it swales and comes up and around. And then this goes this way, okay? And then it goes this way, and this is about 1/8 of an inch apart. And then you go up to another one. Now, if your feathers aren't as long as this, you may only get 2 of these in, okay? So, and you don't have to be so fixated to get 3 in. I just showed 3 here, and I'm doing the exact same thing within the framework of my feather here. But in a lot of cases, from what I've done this before, you may get some in with 3, you only maybe get some in with 2, that's fine. Now, I'm doing this as a pattern of how you're going to paint it. But the problem is, I'm going to show you 2 different styles. I'm going to show you one I did before this one here. I'm going to show you the one I should say I did 2 different styles in here. And I'm going to bring this in, and I'm all going to show you as well. Here's one of them that I've done, and you can see where some of these have 3, some have 2, and so on. So, and if you notice, we're running just like a bar. Just as we apply the paint, we're following that line, and we're going to probably make it so thick, okay, like this, and come down. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, like this, okay? And then the next one, we keep the spacing pretty good when we do the top side here, and we go up, okay? And if you can get 3 in, then you do the top side here, and you make it wide. I'm gonna show you how to make the pass for this. This is one style here. Now, I'm gonna show you another one, and this is one of my originals that I did. And in this area here, I did not just lay the brush down and follow that line. I came in and stroked each line, and I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to do another feather here where it looks like each line is like individually put in rather than just a sweep, and it gives you a real neat looking effect, and I want to show you how I do that. So let me draw another feather about the same size. And in the case of these, if you want to use a pencil to guide you a little bit like this, you can get a light pencil on your owl itself, okay? But I don't, but you can. And then I come up about 1/8 and I swing it this way and I swing it that way. Okay, they don't have to be perfect, but you want to try to get it pretty good. And then this way, okay? So I'm going to show you how I do this one, which was this style here, which is a solid almost line. And then I'm going to show you over here how I break it up. So I'm just thinking back on this paint. I'm going to come in here on the thick side. I'm going to not water it so much. If you notice, there's not that much water in here. I'm going to take a little bit from here and move it over, and I'm going to keep this on the heavy consistency side. So I'm going to take as much paint off the brush first, okay? And now, when I go to do mine, I'm going to strike this just like this. I lay it down and come right to the quill. Then I'm going to come over here and strike it to the quill. Like I said, a lot of them, you're only going to have room for maybe 2 of these. I'll call them bars or whatever you want to call it, like that. And you're seeing I'm getting a nice brown, so you may want to charge your brush up again so you don't lose the density of the color. And then you come in again, and like that, and like that, okay? Now, on this one, which was like one of my originals that I had done, I actually stroked in according to the lines that we had in there. Remember the 45-degree lines? And I'll sort of just fake them in here on this one. Say you had some veining from the burning going this way and this way. I sort of go with them a little bit, but here's what I do. I'm going to charge my brush up again. And I'm using the heavier mix here. I think that's going to be a better deal. The other one I watered down too much. I have a tendency to do that at times. I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to just stroke along that line like so. Okay, it breaks it up, and it gives a little more of a realistic pattern, okay? It's not just a sweep, okay? Now I'll charge up my brush again. And I'm going to come in here again. You can start from here, or you can start up here. I'll start up here. in some cases, you may want to put a pencil lines in on the feather so you can follow these rather than worry about, you know, trying to do the same style. I'll show you. I'm gonna start doing some of it with the pencil, but I'm going to show you I freelance it too. So I come in here. You don't want it real blobby. So I'm following the veining, coming down to the center, and then I come out here. You don't want too much water, okay? You're trying to, if you can see it, you don't want to get it real fading away. If you do, and mix this up again to make sure that all of the paint is moving. And you can see I'm going to go back right over this again, and you'll see it gets darker. Okay, so you want this not real dark, but you want it so it stands out. And I'll leave a little gapping in between each one. You can see like a little light color in there. So you have the choice of making it easy on yourself and just sweeping it, or you can do individual lines along your line, above the line, okay? So let me just show you, and I'm going to do some both ways. Here's a feather right here. Now, let me just sharpen my pencil real fast. It's smart to have a good sharp pencil point. Back again here. And I'll take a large one, like this feather right here. I'm going to come in here, come up 1/8 of an inch, then I'm going to swing out and over. Then I'm going to get this one. It swings around and comes right back to the same point. Now, as big as this one is, it's only going to take 2. So I come up 1/8 of an inch and do the same pattern. So I'm coming this way and this way. Now, on this, I'm going to do it like this, but you can lay your brush on there and just sweep above the line, okay? And it should go fairly easy, but I'm going to show you the effects I like, okay? But, I don't want to drive you all crazy because painting can be a chore, and we got a lot to paint on here, so bear with me here. I'm going to come in here now, and I'm going to, because we got the veining in here, I can follow that veining a little bit, and I'm going to do this. So I'm following the line work. I'm staying within my pencil, and you don't even see the pencil line after you get it in there. And we may do this a second time, and I don't know if everybody wants to keep on doing this till you get a real heavy density. Now here I'm starting in the middle, I'm moving my way up, and when the paint starts fading, that's the color that is, you want to go back and charge your brush up again. So you can mark out all your feathers with this pattern I showed you originally, and then come back in, and it may be easier for a lot of you to do that, and I'll do it again. Here's another big one right here. Here's the quill coming down. So I'm going to start here, about 1/8 of an inch up. I'm going to spin over and go that way, and then I'm going to spin over this way and go out that way. Then I'll come up another 1/8 of an inch, come over this way, and then this way. I could maybe get a little bit in there, but it ain't worth it. It's just doesn't have the room. So here we go again. I'm going to charge up my brush, and I mix the paint up pretty good. And you're using the heavier, not the watered down one. And let me just take, you want to get as much off as you can, so you don't have a real wet brush when you're starting to stipple this thing on. So I'm going to come in here, touch and run. Like so. Then I'm going to come up this way. Okay. Now, it just depends on how much time and effort you want to put into this painting, because it can become a chore. It can. And you may want to do it just with a sweep. So let me get in here. I hope I'm still in target and you are seeing what I'm doing here. Now, for a smaller one, say like this feather right here, I'm going to start here, 1/8 of an inch up, swing over and stop. Then I come over this way and swing down to the quill. Then I come up 1/8 of an inch, and however it falls, that's all I show, is just what is exposed on that feather. Now I'll charge my brush up again, take the excess paint off. You don't want it runny at all. And what you want to do is get it into a point. Then I come in here and I'll just touch it. Like so. Touch it like so. Come back on some of this. And I'm going to do this one. Okay, like so. And I sort of pull the center one down a little bit like that. So it has maybe right on the quill, a little dip just right in there. So it comes to a point like here, okay? And now, even like a smaller one, which is, we can do this one right here. This is only going to show one, okay? So I'm coming up, I'm swinging over, I'm coming over here, and swinging down, okay? Charge the brush up again. Take the excess off, but get it into a point, okay? And you don't want it real watery, because that's a mistake. I forgot. That was just too much water. You want to keep minimal amount of water so you got some consistency of paint that's not going to run on you. And you need a pointy brush. So I'm doing it this way. And then this way. And I just leave that as the only barring I have on that feather. Now, there may be some cases in here, and I doubt it. Looks like most of them are going to be like just 2 bars in there, which is fine, okay? Here's one you may get 3 in, Let's see if I draw that in here. You may get one right here, 1/8 of an inch up, then over. There's 1. Then here's 2, another 1/8 of an inch up and down, like so. And then you get 3, see? And that comes over. Now, I'm going to get my brush, charge it up, take the excess off, and you don't want a lot of water in there. Remember that. It's going to be more of a heavier consistency, not the watered down one. Now I'm going to come down here, start with the bottom one, and I walk right up that line. You can even make it a little wider if you like. Okay, and I dip just a little bit right on the quill there so it comes down looking like a, I'll say it's a chevron. I don't know if that's the correct name for that design or what, but I think that's what it was called. Don't hold me to that. There's two. And then I come in. And you got to have a steady hand. And I'm going to go back one more time on the paper here. And say you screw up one of these, okay? You always can get some white paint, come back, cover up your mistake, and then do it again, okay? As long as it ain't a real heavy white, you can get it back to where it was again, okay? Now, for a lot of you that may not have a real steady hand, I'm going to do this one again. Here's your feather. You come down, here's your quill, and I'm going to start here and spin up. This is what I call like a, I guess this is a chevron pattern or something. Then I come up 1/8 of an inch, and however it fits, whatever fits on your feather, that's what you do. If you only can get one in there, fine. You can get two, great. You can get three, do that too. But don't try to jam them all in there. It's not necessary. Now, what I was saying to you before, you charge up your brush, take most of the paint out so that you don't have any clumps or anything like that, and it goes into a point. You can see that holds a nice point. I'm going to start up here on the upper side, and I'm going to lay that, and this may be easier for a lot of you to do, and it'll still look okay, and you sweep down. Then you can come this way and sweep down, and you do it again. Okay. And you may want to practice on a piece of paper before you do it, but I would definitely pencil your feathers if you want, you know, because then it's like a no-brainer. You don't have to think. Like, I could probably paint these on straight on, but it's nice to get the guidelines of a pencil on there, and you could see that there is, you could hardly see the pencil lines in there. You know, you're not doing it so heavy that it's going to stand out, and that'll get lost even when we put washes on top of this to subdue it. But you don't want to get it so it's so light that you don't see it. You know what I mean? You don't want to lose it. And I'm going to ask you to do all of these in the breast area, not where we stop the burn and we relieve the feathers. I want you to do all of this way, and I'll do a couple more. Well, before I do that, I'll show you, I think, to me, what is the easy way, okay? I'm going to come in here again. Here's the quill. I'm doing this feather right here. I'm going to come this way. I'm up. I want to end up 1/8 of an inch from the end of the feather. And I'm going to swing this over like this. Then I come up on this one. I'm 1/8 of an inch from this point to here. And then wherever this peekaboo's out of here, it pops right in there. There's that one. And I'll do another one here too. I'm going to do this one up here. And you could do them all, you know, with pencil first and then come back with your paint afterwards, you know what I mean? So that you don't have to go back and redraw all the time. You can just get all these in like this, and then it saves you some time anyway. So here we go there. Okay, now I'll come in, charge my brush up, take most of the paint out, and then I'll come in here. And remember, the point is essential. If you have a brush that doesn't hold its point, it wants to flare out and you don't get the effect, okay? If you're doing this style, you want to be somewhat concerned because you don't want to get too thick in here, okay, on the width of it, okay? Let me see what I have in here. You can see in here the width I was trying to maintain on this one, okay? And this is just straight out. Now, you guys can do this, and I'll even show you how to enhance this too later if that's what you want to do, okay? So, you know, crazy me, I'm going to go for more detail. So I'm going to do it the hard way. I'm going to come in here, just take my time, stroke through, and I don't have my optimizers on, which is my magnifiers, and that helps. I feel as though I'm guessing sometime what I'm doing here, but let me charge this up again, because I can feel as though I'm not getting that brown that I'm looking for here. And the one thing you want to do is start from the top and work your way down, so you don't go putting your hands into the paint, you know. So that's important. And I go a little above and below the line, so I'm not perfectly above the line. It's only on this style that I go above the line. I go in between the lines, you know. So here's another one. And I'm just trying to stroke them in individually here. And I'm getting a little air in between them, I should say. You know, what looks like air. Separation, I should say. Now, for those who don't want to go crazy with this, that's fine too. And I'll move that one up a little bit more just to get that. If I wanted to go real crazy, I could sort of hint of one in there, but you don't need it. You really don't. So this is what I'd like you to do, okay? Or this style here. And even if you do this, you could do this, and then if you want to stroke in a little bit like this too, you could do that too afterwards, you know. You could come back and just give that breakup look. There's a couple different ways of doing it, but you're doing it within the body of the feather, and you're sort of making it look like it's feathery. So just come in, and you can add some lines after you do that. So there's another way of doing it, you know. So just giving you options here so that I don't drive you nuts completely. You could get away with that one. You can get away with that, or you can do this too. And what I'm going to ask you to do for me, so that we could get this breast done, it's the same style from here down to the rump here, okay? So I'm going to ask you to do that to the color you're seeing here. And if it comes up light, you can always come back and you can always touch them up a little bit just to heavy it up a little bit more, okay, if you don't think it's popping. So that's the idea, and you're going to do from here to here. So without me being here doing a whole slew of them, I would advise you, and when you're done, rinse out your brush and then dry it off, get all the paint out of it, because it preserves the brush, and then let your brush just sit and dry, you know. But for the sake of not going crazy, you want to come in, like I said, 1/8 of an inch up from the bottom of the feather, and then start here and spinning it this way, and then down there to that one, then another 1/8 of an inch up, and you spin it this way, and then this way, see, because this feather's coming down. So you got 2 in there that you could do. And I would do a lot of these, you know, I would pencil these in as a guideline to help you keep things straight so that you don't get lost in what we're doing here. Now, here's one. Watch this. This has 1 here, 1 here. I think I could sneak a little one, just a little one, right in there. And that makes like a 1/3, but don't push that too much, okay? And I will show you the different styles again. This is, you know, you have choices here. You can do it 3 ways. You can do it this way, which is individual stroking. You can sweep it along there on the upper side of the pencil line, and then you could come back and you can, after you sweep it, you could come through and drag it through, and it gives you that feathery look as well. And here's one without this effect. It's just that one, and that is this, okay? I want to show you that here, and I want you to try to accomplish this from this video. Oh, one other thing I didn't say. Ooh, glad I went back to this. See what I did here? I have, like in the center here, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 feathers. And you could randomly pick it, but you would want to sort of cluster them right in the center where you got that groove coming up in here, right through the center here. I would like you to leave a couple of them white, you know, like I did 8 here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you can just leave some of them without any patterns at all, and then work your way around everything else. So you may want to just concentrate on that. And like I could leave this one. Well, I got one here, 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 and I'll just work around them, okay, so that I get that effect. Now, with this effect, I'm going to show you this again so you can see it. Here's this one done that way, okay? So you can see the choices you have for making the patterns in there. And you can see some with 2, some with 3. There's 1, 2, 3. Some are 2, just 2. It only works to whatever you want to put in there, okay? Even if you want to go an extra one, you can go 4, but I wouldn't crowd it. I really wouldn't, okay? And you're doing it all the way down into the rump. But just remember to leave some white ones, okay? This one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So between 6 and 8 feathers right in the middle, I would leave plain. And if you happen to get crazy and you go over it, just remember you can always come back and get white paint and paint those feathers in the middle, and that'll get you back to square one again. So I want to give you the tips on this, and you want to try to gain something like that, at least the brown color, okay, and like here. The other thing I want to advise you on too, don't forget about the brush. You clean it out in your container of water, and then I have a paper towel. I usually get the moisture out, and I try to roll this brush so it keeps that point. That's very important, okay? And you want to get all the paint out of there too, okay? And I let that sit. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, say you're going to take some time, or you got to take a break, and you want to get away from this. Get some saran wrap and lay this over your paints, and you can come back and with a drop or two of water in there, very little, stir it up, and you should be ready to go again. You can still utilize the paint you have here. So I just want to let you know that too. So I hope you got something out of it. If you did, I'd appreciate if you give me a thumbs up. And if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be great. And if you could, if you have anybody that may be interested in wanting to do some birds or animals or things like that, put them onto my channel. I really appreciate that greatly. It really helps in my end of it here as far as doing this. I'm basically giving these lessons away right now, and I'm trying to educate you to all that I know, and I've done this for a number of years. And if you need paints, you need brushes, if you're looking for equipment or burning units or micro grinders and stuff like that, I have that available too. And like I said, you got different styles to work from here, so I hope you got something out of it. And I'll see you on the next video, and we'll be working on other areas. We got the mantle to do and the head. So what we're going to take, there's different patterns in different areas on here. And for those who may have gotten my kits, I do indicate what goes where, but I'm going to explain things as we go anyway in the video, so you know exactly what you have to do in certain areas. Because we have feathers over feathers, it doesn't sometimes look exactly like that, and I'll show you how to do all that. So okay, I hope you guys have some success with the paint, and we'll try to get you to get right on top of this and see if we can't get this thing flying pretty soon. So hang in there, and we'll see you on the next video.